Across quiet farming regions, a growing ecological challenge is reshaping the landscape in ways many people never notice. An invasive animal with remarkable intelligence, resilience, and rapid reproduction is disrupting crop cycles, damaging soil systems, and stretching rural communities to their limits. What appears ordinary at first glance hides a problem, expanding faster than traditional methods can contain. Understanding how this species spreads, and how farmers respond, reveals a larger story about food security, environmental balance, and the future of modern agriculture. Across wide stretches of countryside, where farming shapes everyday life, an unexpected challenge has been growing quietly for years. It isn't linked to rain shortages, fertilizer costs, or shifting markets. It comes from an adaptable animal that thrives wherever it goes, multiplies rapidly, and leaves fields in ruin long before morning. Farmers across entire regions now face expanding populations of wild foragers that root through crops, tear up soil systems, and interfere with everything from irrigation to harvest schedules. These animals are persistent, intelligent, and capable of causing levels of damage that are hard to fully comprehend, until you have seen an entire field overturned in a single night. Before we go deeper into how this challenge grows, and how communities respond, make sure to support the channel by liking the video, sharing it forward, and subscribing for more detailed documentary content. Many people who live in urban areas never realize how disruptive invasive wildlife can become when left unmanaged. For farmers, it is not a theoretical issue. Across multiple continents, agricultural industries lose billions every year because these animals uproot crops, damage irrigation lines, and reshape the land faster than it can be repaired. Some regions report entire planting cycles undermined because deep rooting destroys seedlings before they even sprout. In other areas, the problem extends beyond crops. Wild foragers break into water storage zones, breach fences, disturb livestock, and force farmers into daily routines that revolve more around protection than production. These losses are not minor. They grow into long-term economic burdens that ripple across supply chains, raising costs for producers and consumers alike. The problem doesn't stop at agriculture. Local governments spend extraordinary amounts restoring public land, repairing roadside embankments, and addressing environmental disruption caused by nonstop digging behavior. Wetlands, forests, and natural reserves often show signs of deep disturbance, which affects native plants and animals already struggling to survive in changing ecosystems. Wildlife specialists warn that invasive foragers can upset ecological balance by consuming food sources needed by local species, competing for territory, and altering soil composition. The larger their populations become, the faster these impacts spread, making long-term restoration harder and more expensive. One of the greatest challenges comes from reproduction. These animals are among the fastest multiplying large mammals in the world. In favorable environments, they can produce multiple litters a year, each containing several young that quickly grow strong and begin breeding themselves. Their adaptability allows them to survive extreme temperatures, varied landscapes, and almost every climate zone. When one habitat becomes difficult, they move effortlessly into another, leaving farms, suburban areas, and even industrial zones equally affected. A problem that starts on one small property can expand across entire counties within a few seasons. Behavior adds another layer of difficulty. Wild foragers often learn from experience, avoiding traps, remembering boundaries, and adjusting their movement patterns to avoid human activity. They roam at night when visibility is low, and most farms are quiet. They travel quickly, in groups, and rarely follow predictable routes. Because of their strong bodies and natural instincts, they can push through barriers meant to stop most animals. Their intelligence makes control efforts complex, requiring careful planning rather than simple deterrence. To manage the growing impact, farmers, landowners, and wildlife teams collaborate in ways that blend traditional knowledge with modern technology. Remote monitoring systems track where herds are moving, thermal tools help locate activity after dark, and reinforced fencing provides partial defense for high-risk fields. Many communities participate in organized management programs approved by environmental authorities, ensuring that strategies remain responsible, humane, and effective. This is not recreational action. It is a coordinated effort designed to protect food production, maintain ecological balance, and safeguard property. Before we continue with how these programs operate, feel free to tap the like button and subscribe if you want more in-depth explanations of real-world farm and wildlife challenges. In many places, these management programs include scientifically supervised removal, targeted population control, and cooperative landowner reporting systems. Wildlife biologists study movement patterns, breeding cycles, and environmental impact to help design long-term strategies that prevent the issue from spreading into new regions. Farmers adjust planting schedules, use crop varieties better suited for disturbed soil, and continuously monitor vulnerable areas. Local authorities provide guidance, training, and support to help rural communities manage the challenge without harming surrounding ecosystems. Internationally, the story remains the same. Countries across Europe, Asia, and Oceania report similar agricultural damage and ecological strain from invasive forager populations. Some nations invest heavily in surveillance zones and detection systems to prevent cross-border spread. Others focus on habitat restoration to strengthen native wildlife that competes with invasive species. Although every region has its own approach, all share the same core issue. Once these animals establish themselves, ignoring the problem allows it to expand rapidly. Despite their destructive potential, the goal of management programs is never to eliminate wildlife entirely. The focus is balance. Rural communities depend on healthy ecosystems, stable soil, and controlled species populations to keep food production safe. When invasive foragers multiply unchecked, they disrupt these systems and place entire agricultural sectors at risk. Managed correctly, however, farmers can continue to work their land. Wildlife can flourish responsibly, and environmental authorities can restore damaged areas without exhausting resources. Those who work directly with the land understand this better than anyone. For them, the challenge is not abstract. It shows up in the form of overturned rows, broken water lines, and reduced harvests. They spend long nights monitoring fields, repairing damage, and coordinating with neighbors to stay ahead of the next wave of rooting. Their work ensures that produce keeps reaching markets, livestock remains protected, and communities retain the food security they depend on every day. Today, we follow one such management effort, observing how teams prepare, monitor, and respond when invasive foragers enter agricultural zones. Through cooperation, planning, and modern tools, landowners take the steps necessary to defend their crops and restore the health of their soil. This is real wildlife management in motion. Grounded not in competition or sport, but in responsibility and long-term preservation. As the day ends and fields quiet down, the work does not stop. Teams continue tracking movements, updating regional reports, and preparing for the next cycle of activity. Their persistence reflects a simple truth. Protecting farmland is not a single event. It is an ongoing commitment shared across entire rural communities. And while the challenge remains significant, so does the determination of those who stand between the land and its most persistent disruptors. If you've enjoyed this in-depth look into rural wildlife management and want more detailed documentaries like this, make sure to like the video, share it with others who enjoy educational content, and subscribe to the channel for future episodes. Your support helps us continue bringing real stories from the world of farming, conservation, and environmental science. Until next time, stay informed, stay curious, and appreciate the work being done to protect the fields that feed us all.